All right, so hopefully you've had a few minutes to go through 17.1. I'm going to explain how I solved this problem myself. So think about when you first read it, what did you notice and what did you wonder? Okay, so Lynn and Jada each walk at a steady rate from school to the library. Lynn can walk 13 miles in 5 hours and Jada can walk 25 miles in 10 hours. They each leave school at 3 o'clock and walk 3 1/4 miles to the library. What time do they each arrive? Okay, so as you can see, I started with Lynn. I knew that for 13 miles she does it takes her 5 hours. So I want to know how long it takes her in 1 mile. How long does 1 mile take her? So what I did was I said, well, I know 13 divided by 13 is 1. So remember, by our rates definition, whatever you do on one side, you have to do on the other. So 5 divided by 13, it gives you a decimal number, but we know that if it's just 5 divided by 13, we can make it a fraction. So back to 5 over 13. Okay? And so then I know, well, anything times 1 is just itself. Okay? So what I said was I could take that 1 times 3 1/4 is 3 1/4. And then what I do then is say 5 over 13 times 3 1/4. So if I take this, 5 over 13 times 3 and, oh, I accidentally put a minus. Make sure you put your right numbers. 3 1/4. And I get 1 1/4. So that tells me it takes her an hour and 1/4 of an hour. So I know that from 3 o'clock, 1 hour is 4 o'clock. And then 1/4 of an hour. Well, we have a little hint down here, but if we didn't know, we know that 60 minutes isn't an hour. So to find 1/4, we could just say 1/4 times 60. Okay, and that would tell us that, oh, sorry, you couldn't see that. 1/4 times 60 is 15 minutes. So she would get there 4:15. Okay? Now we're going to do something very similar to find out what time Jada would get there. So we know that to get from 25 to 1, you've got to divide by 25. Okay? And so if you divide by 25 over here, you have to divide by 25 over here. So in my calculator, I said 10 divided by 25, and make sure you put it in the correct order, and I got 0.4, which if you want to make that a fraction, again, you can. Either way, since it's not a repeating decimal, we can just leave it as 0.4 or 2/5. So 0.4 or 2/5, okay? And then for the last part, well, again, we know that 1 times 3 1/4 is 3 1/4. So we're going to take this new number and times it by 3 1/4. And if you do that, you end up getting 1 3/10. Okay? Well, I know that 1 hour after 3 o'clock would be 4 o'clock again. But I don't know what 3/10 of an hour is. So I say 3/10 times 60. And I find out that 3/10 times 60 is 18. So she's going to get there at 4:18. Okay? So they actually only get there 3 minutes apart. All right.